one that is slamming Iran with sanctions. The Trump administration reimposing harsh sanctions on Iran, with President Trump already tweeting about it this morning, saying this: the Iran sanctions have officially been cast. There are the most biting sanctions ever imposed. And in November, they ratchet up to yet another level. Anyone doing business with Iran will now be doing business with the United States. Not doing business with the United States, rather. I am asking for world peace, nothing less. Here now, joining us to talk more about that is Fox News contributor Liz Peek. Liz, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
One of my guests this weekend, Senator Lieberman, said effectively with these sanctions going back on, it is officially the end to the Iran deal that the U.S. was part of. Do you think this changes Iran's behavior?
Well, I think it's going to have to, because it's already their economy is in free fall and their currency is basically worthless at this point. So I think the Iranian leadership has a choice. Trump has made it clear that he's willing to talk to them. And I think that they're going to eventually, at some point, have to come back to the table. A lot of it's going to depend on what our EU partners, and I use that word with some caution, decide to do, because they are not going to be able to do business in Iran. A lot of them have pulled out already. But really, this first wave of sanctions targets dollar transactions. Without dollars, very few transactions can go forward. The second wave in November 1, is meant to hit, which will be oil. And that's the end of Iran as a functioning economy. So I think between now and now and November, Iran has to come back.
Wow. It's not just the EU, but also, really importantly, China, because they're a big consumer of Iranian oil, and the expectation is they're going to try to find ways around these
and they will.
Sanctions.
We don't expect them to toe the line with the United States. The EU is a different matter, because they need us more than we need them, and they need to be able to deal with the United States.
And of course, the EU is still a part of this deal, so you know, France and other countries are talking about trying to find ways to keep Iran going.
But let's be clear, they want to salvage this deal, and in particular Germany and France, because of commercial interests, because they went in immediately. They see Iran as a new burgeoning market. They think they're going to make a lot of money there. They aren't so keen on the deal because it's the perfect deal. Everyone knows that the ballistic missile activities in Iran need to be curtailed, and that's what was missing in the Iran nuke deal. And from the beginning, the United States, a lot of critics in the United States have said that. That's why Obama didn't take it to the Senate for ratification, because he knew it wouldn't pass.
And that's one of the reasons that American companies did not dive in head first into doing business in Iran the way that these European nations did. One thing to watch for, too, because I'm a huge nerd, is you've got to cut Iran off from the global financial system in some way. You need to you would need to apply maximum pressure, to paraphrase something the administration said. And if you go back to 2012, Iran was cut off from the SWIFT financial network. And SWIFT is this financial messaging service that facilitates money transactions, cross-border financial transactions. That's one thing to watch for between now and headed into November.
Do you think the Trump administration will make any exceptions to these sanctions for some of these European countries?
So far, they have not. And I think that's a slippery slope, right? Because Total and other companies, I believe, have asked for exemptions, and they have not been granted. I think the view on the administration's part is, look, we're either going to do this and hold the line and bring pain and pressure to Iran, or we're not. And if they start issuing a lot of exemptions, it's not going to happen.
What's your take? No, I was just going to say, let's highlight the fact that we cut a very beneficial financial deal with the largest state sponsor of terror.
Yeah. Pellets of cash in a garbage bag.
And $100 billion in sanctions relief to Iran. Mike Pompeo gave this incredibly stirring speech in July at the Reagan Library, where he talked about he was talking to the Iranian people, saying the people who are running your nation have enriched themselves. It's a mafia. Meanwhile, you've got double-digit employment, soaring inflation, and basically people in the streets protesting. And in terms of the terrorism, there was a Iran-backed bomb plot on a rally near Paris that was recently disrupted, recently foiled. He also mentioned that as a reminder to France that this is a terror organization.
Yeah. Well, he said that the whole way going into that deal, and you know, John Bolton as well, and he's coming up talking about that.
Yeah, and the people of Iran have responded to all that by saying, hey, look, where did the money go? We wanted to see a better life for ourselves. Instead, the money's going to Hezbollah and to other bad activities in Syria. So this is a legitimate position that the president has taken. Whether or not, it's going to work as smoothly as the administration would like, we'll see.
Yeah, and that's why, of course, we saw so much protest, right, going on, because the people are actually fighting back for now.